Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good day to you all, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I will bring you to a discussion about millennials' action in Yogyakarta towards sun exposure after so many campaigns. I believe that you already know about what sun exposure is, but I will explain more about it. So, sun exposure is the result of excessive ultraviolet to the skin that very lack of UV absorbing melanin. Uh, we WHO, or World Health Organization, 2012 reported that epidermal skin cancer is one of the results of ultraviolet radiation of sunlight exposure that can lead to skin cancer, one of the example, and furthermore, it can lead to any other symptoms such as nausea, vomiting, and fever. Uh, the content of sun exposure is arrays like X-rays, gamma rays, microwave, and etc. But I will just talking about UV rays here. So UV rays is divided into three kinds. There are UVA, UVB, and UVC. But most dangerous of them all are UVA and UVB. Both UVA and UVB causing tanned skin, but UVA will causing more deeper tanned skin than UVB. Thus, UVB will causing skin aging that lost its elasticity and wrinkling. Furthermore, UVA will produce free radicals that can lead to DNA mutation, and furthermore, it can be skin cancer if it not repaired. And then there are two risks of sun exposure, including melanoma and non-melanoma skin cancer. How to prevent it? Take a look to the perception and campaign. Does it work? So to prevent sun exposure, we need to create an environment that's full of care of sun exposure. So the knowledge and social perception about sun exposure can be formed. Such as, for example, social campaign. There are so many social campaigns that already exist in social media, in television, in newspaper, and etc. But from National Cancer Institute, there are less than 50% of people that using sunscreen wherever they go out. The fact that only less than 50% of them using sunscreen bring us to the reality that their knowledge are not enough to bring them to good action towards avoiding sun exposure. So it is not working at all. And this research, we will study about how millennials in Yogyakarta especially act towards sun exposure. This research study is including 22 college students from 5 different universities in Yogyakarta with purposive sampling, and the data is quantitative data with 3 kinds of questionnaire, like open-ended questions, closed-ended questions, and Likert questions. The questionnaires is filled in Google Form and calculate from Google Form, the results of Google Form itself. And then this is the result. The result from closed-ended question we can see here. Mostly of the participants knows about or ever heard about what sun exposure is and agree that sun exposure has negative effects on the skin. And then their friends are already aware of negative effects of sun exposure too, explained here in open-ended section table. So related to the participants' answer, they assuming that sun exposure is sunlight exposure to object on Earth. Sunlight exposure that reach the unprotected skin contain UVA and UVB. Sunlight that burn the skin, radiation, and expose skin to sunlight in long duration. Some of the participants said that sun exposure has also many positive effects, while one of participants said that they know very little regarding sun exposure. And then I add one more question about in their opinion, what is the most effective way to protect themselves from the sun exposure? So they answered sunscreen with combination of vitamin C and vitamin E, sunscreen with long sleeve cloth, sunglasses and umbrella, sunblock with addition mask and gloves if riding a motorcycle, sunblock, sunscreen combination with long clothes and hat, staying at home, and big beige hat. That is the more effective way to protecting the skin from sun exposure, from their opinion. And then the goals of this research study is to answer the question of millennials' action towards sun exposure, the millennials' awareness on sun exposure, the efficiency of millennials' action on fighting sun exposure. We know that from the result that the participants already know about what sun exposure is, what is the negativity of sun exposure, and what is the effective way to protect themselves from sun exposure. But less than 50% of them are applying it in the reality as action to gain sun exposure. And then the efficiency of millennials' action on avoiding sun exposure, that is only on the participants' perception. When they said in Likert scale question that the when they said in the open-ended question that what is the most effective way in avoiding sun exposure, they say it is like sunscreen combination with vitamin C or vitamin E or any equipment protecting tools such as hats, umbrella, and etc. But in Likert scale question section table, they never carry, most of them never carry sunglasses, never wearing hat, or never carry sunscreen even when they go to outside. So the applied on the reality, the action and the reality is not applied as what they know. So there's only the participant's perception, not the action. And then as millennials usually aware about the newest issue that happening, and they mostly spread the news to the social media they have. But according to sun exposure, only 9% of them did a campaign about sun exposure and spread that to their social media. So it's very, very, very lack of them to aware about sun exposure and its negativity impact to the skin. Finally, we come to the conclusion. So millennials, especially college students in Yogyakarta, does not really have similar action like their knowledge about protecting their skin against sun exposure. And this is like the previous study in Saudi Arabia, that the participants is now having knowledge about sun exposure its and its negativity, uh, but the action, only 8.3% of them using sunscreen. Okay, however, some of them still do not doing any action against sun exposure, and very like of the millennials are already spread the awareness about sun exposure and its negativity. Hopefully, this study will give a good understanding to aware all millennials out there as a young generation to be more speakful and aware of what is happening, not only about the newest trending issue, but also about the health, especially sun exposure, because our art is exposed to the sun every day. So I hope millennials will be more aware of this issue. And about the questionnaire, I think moreover, more modified questionnaire may be needed to further study to get a better result of the research. And that is it. That's it. Thank you for the attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.